Hello, everyone! Today, I'm sharing a mysterious sci-fi thriller. A quick heads up, there are some spoilers ahead, so be prepared. The story takes place in the small German town of Winden, one of the earliest to use a nuclear power plant. However, on June 21, 2019, the peaceful town is forever changed. Jonas's father, Michael, commits suicide after leaving a letter. Strangely, the envelope says, "Do not open until 10:13 p.m. on November 4th. The contents of the letter are shocking. Michael's death deeply affects Jonas, causing his mental state to deteriorate. In contrast, Jonas's mother, Hannah, seems to have moved on quickly. She secretly carries on an affair with Ulrich, whose familiarity with climbing down the house outside suggests their relationship has been going on for some time. Meanwhile, another unsettling event occurs in the town. Jonas's classmate Eric mysteriously disappears. His disappearance seems to be linked to the Winden Caves. Jonas struggles to understand his father's suicide, and even his therapist, Peter, is unable to help him. In reality, Michael's letter is already in the hands of Jonas's grandmother, Ines. Although curious about its contents, she obeys the instructions on the envelope and refrains from opening it until the designated time, 10:13 p.m. on November 4th, which is tonight. Elsewhere, Ulrich finishes his morning jog and returns home to join his family for breakfast. He has 2 sons and a daughter. His youngest, Mikkel, dressed in a skeleton costume, his daughter, Martha, who reads on the couch, and his eldest, Magnus, who often bullies his younger brother. Ulrich's wife, Katarina, is the local school's principal, while Ulrich himself works as a police officer. During breakfast, Mikkel performs a magic trick and delivers a line that becomes a key phrase throughout the series.
Papa, die Frage ist nicht wie.
At the same time, back at school, Jonas notices his classmates looking at him strangely. While confused, his best friend Bartosz approaches him. Bartosz comes from a wealthy family. His father, Alexander, manages the nuclear power plant, and his mother, Regina, owns the town's hotel. In the school auditorium, Jonas is shocked to discover that his girlfriend, Martha, has betrayed him with none other than Bartosz. Meanwhile, Magnus is in a secluded corner of the school smoking marijuana when Franziska, Peter's daughter, catches him. The police station is busy and tense. Eric's parents angrily confront the police, demanding to know why their missing son hasn't been found. Charlotte, the police chief, feels helpless as the entire town has been searched without any results. Eric's mother spits at Charlotte in frustration, but Ulrich steps in to calm her. He suggests that Eric might have run away. However, the situation is eerily similar to what happened 33 years ago when Ulrich's younger brother vanished under similar circumstances, leaving no clues behind. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure wearing a raincoat emerges from the Winden Caves. This person seems to be connected to Eric's disappearance in some way. Ulrich's mother recalls the events from 33 years ago when her younger son disappeared. The similarities between Eric's case and her son's disappearance make it feel as though history is repeating itself. At the local hospital, an elderly man with a missing left ear mumbles strangely to himself. His ramblings seem to hold some hidden significance. At this point, all the key characters are introduced and divided into 4 families. Jonas's family, father Michael, mother Hannah, and grandmother Ines. Ulrich's family, wife Katarina, eldest son Magnus, youngest son Mikkel, and daughter Martha. Therapist Peter's family, wife Charlotte and daughter Franziska. Bartosz's family, father Alexander, head of the nuclear power plant, and mother Regina, owner of the town's hotel. Following the characters across the different timelines and grasping their relationships is vital to fully understanding the series. If someone told you your present is the future of the past, and time is an endless loop, could you accept it? In Winden, this concept of time is unfolding before everyone's eyes. 33 years ago, Ulrich's brother mysteriously disappeared. Now, 33 years later, another student, Eric, has gone missing, and there are still no leads. Unbeknownst to the townspeople, Eric is being held in a blue room where a bizarre experiment occurs. The elderly man with the missing left ear continues mumbling to himself in the hospital, "Everything will happen again." Principal Katarina is deeply concerned about Eric's disappearance. She urges the students to report any clues about Eric. However, the rebellious teenagers show little interest in the case and are more focused on finding the stash of marijuana Eric supposedly hid. Bartosz hears a rumor that Eric may have hidden the marijuana in the Winden Caves. A group of students decides to explore the caves that night. Little do they know this decision will change their lives forever. Meanwhile, Jonas's grandmother, Ines, anxiously watches the clock, holding the letter Michael left before his suicide. The letter says, "Do not open until 10:13 tonight." As the time approaches, the truth draws closer. That evening, Jonas and Martha arrive near the caves first. Martha explains her relationship with Bartosz, expressing that she still has feelings for Jonas. Jonas, in turn, admits that he struggled with depression after his father's death and does not blame Martha. Soon, Magnus and Mikkel join them, followed by Bartosz. After some teasing of Mikkel, the group begins their adventure. At the same time, the elderly man with the missing ear escapes from the hospital. He looks terrified as if sensing something is about to happen. Elsewhere, a parents' meeting is taking place at the school. Charlotte uses the opportunity to ask for information about Eric's whereabouts. Bartosz's mother, Regina, dismisses the concern, complaining that the disappearance has negatively affected her hotel business. Suddenly, the elderly man bursts into the meeting, declaring that everything will happen again. It is revealed that he is Helga, Charlotte's father-in-law, and Dr. Peter's father. Back at Ines's house, she anxiously stares at the clock, waiting for 10:13 to arrive. In the caves, the group begins their search. Bartosz rummages through an old, broken sofa near the cave entrance but finds nothing. It turns out Charlotte's daughter, Franziska, got there first and plans to blackmail Bartosz for the stash. However, Bartosz quickly snatches it back without hesitation. As the group prepares to leave, a loud noise suddenly echoes deep inside the cave, followed by strange sounds from the surrounding forest. Frightened, they scatter and run in different directions. In the chaos, Jonas accidentally loses Mikkel. While searching with a flashlight, Jonas hears his father's voice calling behind him. When the others escape the forest, they realize Mikkel has disappeared completely. Meanwhile, Ines opens Michael's letter. Although the contents remain unknown to us, her expression shows deep sadness. At this point, the story begins to unravel from the mysterious moment of 10:13, with the number 33 repeatedly mentioned. Strange events soon unfold in the quiet town. 33 sheep die mysteriously on a farm, and dead birds fall from the sky over Winden. As the townspeople wonder what is happening, a child emerges from the Winden Caves, the missing Mikkel. Mikkel looks around at the world, which feels both unfamiliar and familiar, and runs straight home. However, when he arrives, his house key no longer works. A young man opens the door and introduces himself as Ulrich, leaving Mikkel stunned. The man standing before him is his father, but much younger. At that moment, a blonde girl approaches. The young Ulrich calls her Katarina, and Mikkel is frozen in shock. The girl is his mother, though much younger. Katarina also feels a strange sense of familiarity when she looks at Mikkel. After his parents leave, Mikkel finds a newspaper outside the house. He is shocked to see the date, 1986. He realizes that he has traveled 33 years into the past from 2019. Mikkel enters the house and meets his grandmother, Jana, as a young woman. However, she is mentally unstable due to the disappearance of her son, Mads. Mikkel then runs to the school and finds the surroundings familiar, but the missing person poster at the gate features Ulrich's brother, Mads, instead. At the school, Mikkel re-encounters the young Katarina. He tells her he is looking for his mother, the school principal. Katarina, confused, explains that the principal is a man. Facing this strange boy, Katarina is left speechless. With no other options, Mikkel goes to the police station, hoping to find his father, Ulrich. However, the elderly police officer is shocked to hear Ulrich's name, as in 1986, Ulrich is still just a delinquent teenager and couldn't possibly have such an old son. Noticing the injuries on Mikkel's face, the officer assumes that Ulrich has been bullying him and intentionally sent him to the station to cause trouble. After settling Mikkel, the officer angrily sets out to find Ulrich. Left alone in the station, Mikkel looks through cut-out newspaper articles on the police officer's desk. He learns that Ulrich's brother, Mads, disappeared recently and finds an old photo of his father and Mads together as children. Suddenly, a woman enters the room. It's Jonas's grandmother, Ines. As a young nurse, she has been called to treat Mikkel's injuries. She takes Mikkel to the infirmary and gently tends to his wounds. Touched by her kindness, Mikkel confides that he is from the future. However, Ines dismisses his story as childish imagination. Meanwhile, the elderly police officer finds the young Ulrich and angrily scolds him, mentioning Mikkel. Ulrich is confused and denies ever sending a child to the station. Frustrated, he accuses the police of failing to find his missing brother, Mads. Winden's nuclear power plant is already operational, and Claudia is about to take over as its director. Claudia is Regina's mother, and Regina is still an innocent young girl. The elderly police officer is Claudia's father, Egon. Claudia meets Ulrich's young father, Trond, at the nuclear plant. The two appear to share a secret relationship, hinting that Ulrich's future infidelity may be inherited from his father. One day, Jonas finally reads his father's letter and learns the true reason behind his father's suicide. Jonas asks his mother, Hannah, how she and his father fell in love. From her story, he learns that his father was a very unusual man who often said things that were hard to understand. Jonas wants to tell her the truth, but hesitates. He knows he must stop everything from happening and bring back the friend who shouldn't have ended up in the past. The root of everything lies in the Winden Caves, which allow people to travel through time. Jonas heads to the caves with a map in hand to find the time tunnel. Following markers and red strings, he discovers an iron door. Behind it are two tunnels, one leading 33 years into the future and the other 33 years into the past. Jonas luckily chooses the right tunnel. After passing through the tunnel, Jonas successfully travels to the past, arriving in 1986, where Mikkel is. He even encounters his mother, Hannah, as a child by the roadside. Young Hannah invites him into the car to avoid the rain, but the situation frightens Jonas, and he runs away. At dawn, Jonas goes to the hospital where Mikkel is staying. Based on his father's letter, he knows Mikkel has already been adopted by his grandmother, Ines. At the back of the hospital, he finds Ines and Mikkel together. Suddenly, a figure appears behind Jonas. It is the mysterious man who has been seen multiple times in the Winden Caves. For now, we'll call him the stranger. He tells Jonas, you must believe and accept what you see. Mikkel traveled through the cave, was adopted by your grandmother, met young Hannah at the hospital, and eventually became your future father. Hearing this unbelievable story, Jonas wants to stop it from happening and fix everything. However, the stranger stops him and warns, if you take Mikkel back, it will disrupt the balance of time. Mikkel will not meet your mother, they will not fall in love or marry, and you will cease to exist. These words make Jonas realize that his future depends on his decision not to bring Mikkel back. As events unfold, they follow the predetermined path. Mikkel meets young Hannah, and Jonas does nothing to prevent it. Heartbroken, Jonas returns to 2019. At home, he sits silently, staring at his mother, Hannah. He says, maybe our lives are all destined. Dad must have loved you very much. The two, bound by their shared pain, embrace tightly. Meanwhile, Ulrich is still desperately searching for Mikkel. He suspects that Helga is involved in Mikkel's disappearance and interrogates him repeatedly, even causing Helga's heart rate to spike. Helga keeps muttering about time travel. However, suppose Ulrich knew that his son Mikkel would become Jonas's father and that he was involved in an improper relationship with Jonas's mother, Hannah. In that case, he might have already lost his mind. As night falls, Ulrich returns to the hospital, only to find that Helga is no longer there. He discovers a book about time travel on the desk, with the strange coin tucked inside. Ulrich recalls that a child's corpse was once found in the town's forest, and the same coin was on the body. This strengthens his suspicion that Helga is connected to Mikkel's disappearance. Ulrich spots Helga acting suspiciously outside the hospital and decides to follow him. He watches as Helga heads straight to the caves and follows closely behind. Little does Ulrich know this decision will lead to a lifetime of sorrow. Ulrich follows the elderly murderer Helga deep into the cave. There, he discovers an iron door and travels to 1953. After traveling, Ulrich encounters his grandmother, Agnes, as a young woman by the roadside. Her beauty leaves him stunned. Agnes calls over her son, Trond, Ulrich's father. This encounter convinces Ulrich that time travel is real. Later, Ulrich uses the time travel book left by Helga to locate its author. The author, still a young man now, denies writing the book. Ulrich confirms that the current year is 1953. He suddenly realizes that Helga is just a child now. If he can eliminate Helga while he is young, he might prevent all future tragedies. Ulrich soon finds young Helga. After confirming the boy's identity, Ulrich acts without hesitation. He pins the boy to the ground and strikes him with a rock. His determination comes from what he knows about Helga's future, that this boy will grow up to become a murderer responsible for the deaths of Ulrich's son and brother. Ulrich believes that by ending this monster now, he can change the future and save his son and brother. Believing his mission is complete, Ulrich rushes to the Winden Caves, planning to return to his time. However, the police, alerted by a report, find Ulrich and stop him. Ulrich tries to escape, but the police fire a warning shot and capture him. The police question Ulrich about what he did to the child. Ulrich confesses, saying, "This child will become a murderer in the future. I traveled back from the future to stop him." However, the police do not believe his story. Convinced that he has already killed the boy, Ulrich accepts his fate, thinking it no longer matters if he is trapped in 1953. What Ulrich doesn't realize is that the boy did not die. He only fell unconscious. This incident also explains why Helga has a damaged left ear in the future. The police interrogate Ulrich repeatedly, trying to find out where the boy is, but Ulrich refuses to reveal anything. With no other choice, the police imprison Ulrich. From then on, he remains trapped in 1953 until he dies of old age. Meanwhile, Jonas makes a final decision. He must bring Mikkel back from 1986, even if it means he will cease to exist. He goes to Mikkel's hospital room but finds a man already there. Before Jonas can ask any questions, the man knocks him unconscious. When Jonas wakes up, he discovers he is locked in a mysterious room. While he is trying to make sense of what's happening, a portal suddenly appears. On the other side of the portal is the young Helga, just waking up. Both of them curiously reach out to touch each other. The moment they do, Jonas is instantly transported to the year 2052. This concludes the story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling recaps. See you in the next video.